Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the 16th part in this series where we're building a personal dashboard app using Angular. In this video, we're going to be implementing these to-do item action buttons. So there'll be two action buttons. There'll be one for edit and one for delete. The edit button will send the user to the edit to-do view, and the delete button will delete the to-do. Alright then, let's actually go and create that now, and then we can move on to creating the edit to-do view. So let's go to our code here, and let's actually close everything. Let's close all of these, and let's go to the to-do item template. All right. Okay, so inside here, we can create the to-do action buttons. So here, let's create a div, and this will be the container for the to-do action buttons. So let's give this the class of to-do item actions. And inside here, we want to create a div, and this will be the edit button. So let's give it the class of btn, and also of to-do-item-action-btn. All right. So this class we have created already, and this class is something we will style in just a second to give it specific styles that will make it look like this. Okay, so let's go inside here, and inside here we want to put the edit icon, right? So we can do i.material-icons-outline, and it's the edit icon, so we can type in edit here. All right, let's save this now, and let's go back to the application. Okay, and now we see this, and that's pretty cool. Alright, so now we can actually go and create the second button, and that is the delete button. Alright, I'm going to just copy and paste that and change this to delete. Okay, cool. Let's save that and go back to the application. And there we go. Cool. And at this point, I actually want to change the icons to the field versions of these icons, right? So in material icons, here we have the filled versions and the outline versions, and these icons are the outline versions, as we can see here. If I type in delete, then this is how the filled version looks like, and this is how the outline version looks like, right? And I think, and for this I want to use the filled version, right? And we actually have only imported the outline version into our application. So what we can do is we can go to styles.scss, I think it was. All right, so here's where we're importing material icons outlined. So what we can do is we can actually also import the regular material icons, which is the filled version, right? So here we can go to the end of that and do a pipe, right? So that there. And then we can type in the name of the other font family that we want to import, and in this case it's just going to be material plus icons. Cool. Alright, so let's save this now, and let's go back to our application, and let's actually change the class here to material icons. Okay, let's save this and go back to our application, and there we go. So now it's actually filled in. Cool. All right, so now let's go back to the code here, and okay, and let's just close this styles file. Okay, and then let's go here, and let's actually use the normal material icons for this. Okay, save that, and let's go back to the application. All right, cool. So the next thing we can do is we can actually change the font size of these icons so that they're a little bit smaller. So let's go back to the code here, and let's go to the style sheet, and let's go here, and let's select the to-do-item-action-btn, and then the icon inside it, and then here you can do font size 20 pixels. Save that and go back to the application, and now they're a bit smaller. That's good. All right then, so now let's go and Cool. All right, so now let's go back to the code and let's go and style the to-do -item -actions. So this div here, and what we now want to do is we want to position this so that it's on the right side, right? So let's go and do that. And for this, we'll be using position absolute. So position absolute, right 5 pixels. All right, save that. Go back to the application. And now it's all the way over there, okay? And it's 5 pixels from the edge of the window. And we actually want this to be 5 pixels from the edge of this to-do item, right? So we should actually go back here and go up to the to-do item class, and we should probably give this position relative, right? Save that, go back to the application, and now that's like that. Cool. All right, so now the next thing we can do is we can now go and start styling those action buttons. So if we go here, we can now start to style the to-do item -action -btn. And first of all, I actually want to set the background to transparent. Okay, save that and let's go back to the application. Okay, and now it's transparent. What we can now do is we can give the to-do item actions a background. So let's give this a background of RGBA 72, 72, 82, and then 0.8. 0.85. Okay, let's save that and let's go back to the application, and now we see that. Cool. All right, now let's give this a border radius. So if we go here, we can give this a border radius of 20 pixels. If we save that and go back to the application, there we go, that looks a lot better. So yes, that's pretty cool. The next thing we can do is we can work on the hover state of these buttons. So let's go back here and let's style the hover state here. So and hover. Okay, and it's set the background to RGB 50, 50, and 53. All right, save that. Let's go back to the application. Okay, cool. Let's now actually set the border radius here. So here we can do border radius 20 pixels, or we could also do inherit, as the parent is this one, and it has the border radius 20 pixels there. So if we save that, go back to the application. Okay, that's much better. But what we could also do is we could maybe give the side that's on the inside of the to-do item actions, we could have that side be flat, right? So no rounded corners. So if we go here, we can actually do and first child, and that's because we actually want to just target the edit button here. Okay, and we want to set the top right and the bottom right border radius to 0. Okay, so let's go back to the code and let's do border top right radius 0. And let's do the same thing for the bottom right. Okay, let's go back to the application. And there we go. So now we have a flat edge on the right side there. And now for this one, we actually want this to be on the left side, right? Because the inside edge is on the left here. So we can now target the last child to target the delete button. So and last child, like that. And here we can set the border dash top dash left radius to 0 and the bottom left radius as well to 0. Okay, let's save that and go back to the application. And there we go. Cool. All right, that's pretty good. The next thing we can do is we can maybe decrease the padding on these buttons, right? So at the moment they have the padding set on the BTN class, right? So they have that padding from the BTN class. If we go here on the BTN class, we have the padding set to 12 pixels and 22 pixels. Okay, but for this, I want to actually decrease it a little bit to maybe just 12 pixels or maybe even 10 pixels all the way around. So let's go here and let's do padding 12 pixels, save that, go back to the application. Okay, let's actually make this 10 pixels. Okay, all right, so here we have an issue, right? And the issue is that it looks like there's more space on the right hand side than the left hand side in the case of the edit button, and in the case of the delete button, it looks like there's not much space on the right hand side here, right? The reason for that is because of the border radius, right? Because we have this kind of curved edge here, but it's a flat edge here. So I think we should put more space on the curved edge, basically. So if we go here, we can do padding and then padding left, right? Because we want to put padding on the left hand side here. So we're going to increase the padding on the left hand side to maybe 14 pixels. So if we save that and go back to the application, that looks a lot better. Okay, and then in the case of the delete button, so the last child here, we can do padding right 14 pixels. Okay, let's save that and go back to the application. And there we go. Cool. All right, so yeah, we could maybe even try and decrease the padding on this one, maybe a little bit, to maybe 12 pixels. So maybe that looks a little bit better. Cool. All right, so now let's move on. The next thing we can do is go back to the code, and I actually want to give the to-do item actions a bit of a backdrop filter. So let's give this a backdrop filter of about of a blur. Let's put it as a blur of about 2 pixels. Okay, save that. And let's actually maybe put this there, maybe. All right. Let's save that and go back to the application. Okay. Okay, I think the next thing we could do is maybe add a bit of a box shadow to this here. So if we go here and we can maybe give the to-do item actions a box shadow. So let's give this a 0 pixel horizontal offset. Let's give this a 4 pixel vertical offset, and let's give this a 12 pixel blur. And let's set the color here to RGBA black 0.2. All right. Okay, so let's save this now and let's go back to the application. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. So, one quick thing I want to do though is I want to actually go and create a to-do which has a lot of text in it. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to actually go to just the template here, and I'm just going to create some lorem ipsum text, and I'm just going to cut all of this text. So I'm going to cut that. Okay, so I just did that to just grab that text. Okay, so I didn't actually change any of this code, so I can just Control Z everything there. All right, cool. And then I'm going to go here and just paste that in. All right, I'm now going to click Create To Do. Okay, and now we have this. Cool. One cool thing is that we do actually see the backdrop filter working, as we can actually see the text is blurred underneath there. That's nice. And yeah, it looks pretty good. One thing that I want to do though is I want to top align it, right? So it's actually centered aligned right now. So yeah, so let's go and put this at the top. Let's go back to the code here, and let's go to the style sheet, and let's go here and let's give this top 0. Save that, go back to the application, and now it's completely top aligned. This should really be about 5 pixels from the top, so let's do 5 pixels. Save that, go back to the application, and there we go. Cool. So that looks pretty good. Let's go and add a large to-do again. Cool, and now it's definitely staying at the top. Awesome. So that's looking pretty good. Yeah, all right. So I think the next thing we can do is we can actually make this only appear on hover. So let's go and do that now. Let's go back to the code here, and we can now hide this by default. So here we can say hide by default, and here we can set the visibility to hidden. Okay, so let's save that now, and let's go back to the application. Cool, and now we can't see it there. Cool. All right, so now we can go back here, and we can now go and work on showing it on hover. So what we want to do is we want to show it when we hover over the to-do item, right? So what we can do is we can go down here, and we can do .todo-item hover. Okay, so whenever we hover the to-do item, and that's this div here. If we look here, that's this div here. And then we want to select the to-do item actions there. Okay, so this is going to be selecting the element that has the class of to-do item actions that's inside this parent element that has the class of to-do item in the hovered state. Okay, and then inside here we can now show the to-do item actions. So let's set the visibility to visible. Okay, let's save that and go back to the application. And there we go. Cool. That's pretty nice. But now we can actually make this transition in, right? So let's go and do that. Let's go and make this transition in nicely. So let's go up here to the to-do item actions here, and let's set the opacity to 0, and let's go down here and let's set the opacity to 1. Okay, so then it will fade in if there's a transition, right? At the moment we haven't actually set any transition, but let's save this and let's go back here, and we see that it isn't fading in. So let's go back here and let's add a transition here. All right, so let's do transition, and here we can just set 0.2 seconds. Okay, let's save that and let's go back to the application, and now it's nicely fading in. Cool. Awesome, that's really nice. What we could now do is we could add a slight transition delay so that these only show after about half a second after we've hovered over the to-do item, right? So then the user gets a chance to see the transition happening over here, and then this can happen half a second after we've hovered over it, right? So if we go back to the code here, we can actually put a transition delay here, transition delay, and put this at 0.5 seconds. If we save this and go back to the application, cool, so now it takes half a second for it to fade in. Awesome, so now it only starts fading in after half a second. Cool, alright, so it seems to be working pretty nicely, but we do have one problem, and that problem is that it takes half a second after we leave it for it to start fading out, right? And that's because of the transition delay on there. So we only want the transition delay when we start to hover over it. So when our cursor is actually entering into the to-do item, but when the cursor leaves, when we're actually not hovering anymore, and we move the cursor out of the to-do item, we want there to be no transition delay, right? So to achieve that, we can go back to our code here, and we can actually move the transition delay into here. Okay, save that, go back to the application, and now there's a half a second delay there. That was good, but there's no delay when we leave the to-do item. Awesome. Cool. All right, so that's pretty good. So we could leave it like that, but we could also maybe make this a bit more interesting, maybe by adding a scale transform so it kind of zooms in a little bit. So let's go back to our code here, and let's go here. And we can now give this a transform scale 0.8. Okay, and then we can go down here, and then on to do item hover, the to do item actions can have a transform scale of 1. Okay, save that. Let's go back to the application, and now it's zooming in. Cool. Awesome. All right, so that's pretty cool. Cool. All right, so I think the next thing we can do is we can now work on the edit to do view. So let's go and do that. Let's go back to the code, and let's go to the terminal, and let's generate the edit to do component. So nggc edit dash to do. Okay, and now we have this new folder here, edit dash to do. Okay, and we can go to the template here, and let's actually go to the routing module, and let's set up the route for this. So this will be to-dos /id, right? Code on ID. Okay, and the component will be the edit to do component, like that. All right, so that's the new route that we've just added. Let's save that now, and let's close this, and let's go back to the application, and let's go to /todos /abc, and here we see edit to do works. Okay, cool. All right, so let's now go back here, and let's now work on the UI for this. All right, but before we do this, let's just quickly set up the links to the edit to do view from the to dos view here. So the edit button should link to the edit to do view. So let's go and work on that. Let's go back to the code here. Let's go to the to do item.component.html, and let's use event binding on the click event, and let's call the method on edit click. Okay, and let's go and save this, and let's go to the component class, and let's create the on edit click method. Okay, and for now let's do an alert edit was clicked. Okay, save that and go back to the application, and let's try this here. There we go, edit was clicked, that works. Okay, but as you may have noticed, it's actually set it to completed as well. The reason for this is because we've actually clicked inside the component, and we're listening for the click events, right, in the to-dos component here, right? So here we are event binding to the click of this component, and on click we then execute this method, right? So all right, so what we have to do is we have to actually stop the click event on these to-do action buttons from propagating up, okay? So that the click event doesn't get fired on the actual component itself, right? So when we click on one of these buttons, that shouldn't fire a click event on the to-do item component tag, right? So to do that, what we can do is we can go back to the to-do item component template, and we can go here, and we can actually do some event binding on the click event here, and here we can do $event .stop propagation. Okay, so let's save this now, and let's go back to the application, and let's try this again. Let's try and click on the edit button. Okay, cool. All right, so we get the alert, and it hasn't set it to completed. Awesome, that's pretty cool. And it also works if we click on the delete button. Okay, so it isn't actually setting it to completed when we click anywhere on these to do control buttons here. Okay, cool. All right, so that's pretty good. Let's now go here, and let's go to the on edit click method. All right, and then let's actually remove this. And what we now want to do is we want to emit a event when the edit button has been clicked. So let's go here and let's use the output decorator. And let's create an event emitter. So let's call this edit click, and this will be of type event emitter. And the events will be of type void, because we don't actually want to send any data. It will just be a signal that the edit button has been clicked. Okay, and then this can be equal to new event emitter. Okay, cool. And this has to be imported from @Angular core. My code editor has actually imported it from Protractor, but that's not actually correct. All right, so let's get rid of that, and let's go here, and let's make sure it's importing it from @Angular core. There we go. Cool. All right, let's save that, and we can see that it's up here now. All right, let's save that, and let's go here. And now we can now do this.edit click.emit. Okay, cool. All right, so now that we've done that, the parent component can now use event binding to listen to this event. So let's save this and let's go to the to-dos component, and that's the parent component because we have the to-do item here. So here, first of all, let's actually restructure this. Let's put these onto multiple lines so it's a bit more readable. Okay. And cool. All right, so here what we can do is kind of like the click event, we can use event binding on edit click. Okay, and that's the name of the event emitter, right? So if you go here, that's what we're using here. So here we want to call the method on edit click, and we can actually pass in the to do object like that. All right, so if we save that now, we can now go to the component class, and let's go here and let's create the on edit click method, and it takes in the to do object, to do. Okay, and here we can now do alert. Okay, and then here we can do, hey, I am in the to do's component. Okay, let's save that and let's go back to the application, and let's try that now. Let's go here and click on the edit button. And now here it says that, hey, I'm in the to-dos component. Cool. All right, so now we can go here and we can actually do what we want to do, which is we want to navigate the user to the edit to-do view. Okay, so so let's go up here to the constructor and let's import the router. Okay, so private router is of type router. And let's go down here. All right, so here we can do this.router.navigate. Okay, and this takes in an array of commands. All right, so the first command will be /todos, and the second command will be the to-do ID, to-do.id. Okay. All right, so let's save that and let's go back to the application. And let's try this. Let's go here and let's click on this. Cool, and we're sent to /todos/this ID. Okay, and you can see here that we are actually seeing the edit to do view here. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back and let's see if we get a different ID when we press on this one. Let's click on this one. Yeah, okay, and that's a different ID. Cool. All right, so let's go back here and let's go back to the code here. Cool. All right, so the next thing we can do is, I guess, while we're here and while we're working on the to-do item, I guess we could also implement the delete button. So let's go and quickly work on that. Let's go and do a similar thing than what we did here. So let's go to the delete to-do item action button, and let's do click, and on click we want to do on delete click. Okay, let's save that and go to the to-do item component class, and let's go here and do on delete click, and we simply want to create another event emitter, and this one we can call delete click, and it will just be the same thing, and we can And we can go here and do this dot delete click dot omit. Okay, save that. And now let's go to the todos.component.html and let's just copy and paste this, copy, paste, and paste there. Okay, and let's just change this to delete click, and we can call the method on delete click. Okay, and pass in the to do. Okay, let's save that and let's go to the component class for the to do's component, and we can now do on delete click, and we'll take in the to do. Okay, and then here we can actually use the to do service to delete that to do. Okay, and we have to pass in to do.id. Okay, let's save that now and let's see if this works. Let's go back to the application. Let's go here and let's click on the delete button. Cool. All right, so that actually worked. It actually did delete the to do. Cool. All right, so let's try and create another one, and let's call this one. Okay, let's do one. Let's create another one, and let's call this 2. Let's create another one. Let's call this 3. Let's call this 4 and 5. Okay, let's delete 3. Okay, good. So now there's 1, 2, 4, 5. Cool. Let's delete 1. Cool. And now we're left with 2, 4, 5. Let's delete 4, 2, 5. Cool. All right, so that does actually work. Cool. All right, so that's working pretty well. The next thing we can do is we can actually add a animation to the to-do item when it's removed from the UI, right? So that it nicely transitions out of the user interface. Let's go and do that now.